Oklahoma City. The Thunder beat Minnesota on the road 128-126. In terms of margin of victory, they were 44 points better than in Game 3. And now on the precipice of a trip to the NBA Finals. Wesley Matthews, Greg Anthony, I'm Matt Weiner. It's Playoff Central Live presented by AT&T. A couple bottom lines for me. OKC's young stars were better than Minnesota's stars in this game. And possessions. The Thunder got off 11 more shots because, in large part, because of Timberwolves' turnover issues, which plagued them throughout the game.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head. Basketball is a simple game. It really does come down to possessions. And when you're at this level, if you get 11 more opportunities than your opponent, it's hard to overcome that. I mean, the fact that Minnesota had a chance in this game with how Randall and Edwards played compared to how you talked about with Williams and SGA, that says a lot about that supporting cast. But ultimately, in these situations, your best players have got to be able to deliver. And I thought SGA and Jalen Williams were incredible. Factor that, we talked about turnovers, but 19 offensive rebounds he gave up in this game as well. So the inability to finish the defense. You think about it. Minnesota shot 51 from the field, 44 from three, had a +6 free throw advantage, and lost. So regardless of how your best players play, you did enough to win the game, but your inability to control that defensive backboard and the fact that you had all those turnovers, especially in that first half, that kind of set the tone and give OKC a lot of credit because it is not easy to win on the road. But we talked about it pregame. I felt like getting blown out would work to their advantage because it's so much easier to be motivated and play better after a game like that because you know that's not who you are. And SGA and Co showed up and showed out tonight.
What stood out for you?
I mean, to piggyback on what you said about, to put the game in the rear view, when, being an experience, when you get blown out in a playoff game, it only counts for one game. It only counts for one loss. You can't get 2, 3, no style points, whatever that is. But you almost mentally check out of it, before the game's over with. Hey, let's get out of this healthy. We know this isn't us, like you said, and let's lock into what we need to do. And that's exactly what they did. There was no, thinking. They came out and they played. They played basketball. Jalen Williams was aggressive off the rip. Shea was aggressive off the rip. And what I love to see was Chet, from experience playing playoff games in your home state, it's a little bit to that. For him to be, I was on the right side, being, Wisconsin, Milwaukee. He was, doing that as the opposing player. So for him to settle back in and really be that third guy, that's when they drafted him, when they had all these high expectations for him. He's showing what he's capable of doing, and he really filled a big void for these guys tonight on the offensive side and the defensive side of the ball.
Chet Holmgren, the Minnesota native, had 21 7-boards, 3 block shots. The 3 primary Oklahoma City stars, there are a lot of really good players on this roster, accounted for 95 of their 128 points. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander became the third in Oklahoma City playoff history with a 40-point game, joining Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. And OKC gets to head home and Wednesday night try to play their way to the NBA Finals. The flip side of that, guys, is the OKC defense on Anthony Edwards in particular was excellent because somebody was on him and in his face from the get-go tonight.
Yeah, and I thought Luke